Canucks lose. 3-1, Calgary, the final score. Canucks, I think, played a fine game. This is one of those games where either team could have won and it would have been understandable. Unfortunately, the Canucks are on the losing end of it for the 6th time in a row. And as Alain Vigneault once said, when you're on the tail end of a losing streak or tail end of a winning streak, you're usually playing bad but still pulling out wins somehow. And on the tail end of a losing streak, you're playing well but still losing games. That seems to be exactly where the Canucks are. Canucks came into this one 6-10 with a 5-game losing streak up to 6 now, comfortably in 6th place in the division, just ahead of the Ottawa Senators. Calgary, on the other hand, 6-5-1, winning their last 2 games, placing themselves 5th in the division but 4th in points percentage. Starting goalies in this one, it was the battle of the Canucks, Thatcher Demko versus Jacob Markstrom. Demko came into this one with a 3-5 record at an .897 save percentage. Markstrom, on the other hand, 6-3-1 with a .916. Lineup changes for this one. Jake Virtanen stayed out. Justin Bailey came in on the 3rd line with Sutter on Gaudette. McEwen slotted in on the 4th line. On the defensive side, Juolevi was in for Chatfield once again, and I thought Juolevi, spoiler alert, was one of the best players on the Canucks tonight. Recap for this one. About 40 seconds into this game, Rasmus Andersson called for tripping on Tanner Pearson. Does that mean the Canucks win the Sven Baertschi for the 2nd round pick trade? Probably. There's a great chance for Hughes in this one. He sort of chopped out in front. Markey made the save. This was a solid power play. The Canucks had a few chances, but couldn't clear their own zone for the last 30 seconds. They were just randomly turning the puck over, which didn't really make a lot of sense. 12 minutes to go in the first period. There was the tribute for Markstrom, Tanev, and Levo all in one. Sort of a 3-on-1 tribute. I didn't like it. I thought it was kind of weak for Chris Tanev, who has been with the organization for 10 years now, over 10 years, almost 11 years. It just seemed kind of weak. 3.5 minutes to go in the first period. Justin Bailey was called for a slash in the hands of Mangiapane, so the Canucks went to the penalty kill. Canucks penalty kill was stuck in their own zone for 2 minutes. And then right as this penalty ended, so technically not a power play goal, but a Giordano shot went off of Jordy Ben in front and in to make it 1-0 Calgary. Shots in the first period, 14-8 for Vancouver. So the Canucks controlled play. 14 shots in a period is something that you're pretty happy with. And I think they were the better team in the first period. But again, this goal just bounced off Jordy Ben and in, so kind of unlucky. And the unluckiness would continue in the second period. 3 minutes in to the second period, Chris Tanev was called for hooking on... Wow, I clearly wrote this down wrong. No, that is right. Chris Tanev plays for the Flames. Chris Tanev called for hooking on Antoine Roussel. Does that mean the Canucks win not signing Chris Tanev? Probably, please. Power play 1 was absolutely useless and messy, and this penalty was killed off. 13:29 to go in the second period, so about 6.5 minutes in. Elias Pettersson just dangles Milan Lucic, goes inside out on him, hits a sick bank pass off of the far wall to Brock Besser, goes in, ends up on the backhand because of the pressure from the defender, takes the backhand shot, it's stopped. Markey saves it, and then play kind of stops, and Besser kind of steps away from the goalie and looks down, and the puck's just sitting there, and Markstrom doesn't have his pad against the post. He's the only one who knew where the puck is, smacks it home, we're tied at 1. That's his 10th of the year, by the way. Good for Brock Besser. Halfway through the second period, Monahan had a breakaway. That was stopped by Demko. Bennett kind of hit Demko after the whistle. He kind of just kept skating into Demko, a little bit of a collision. I don't think this should have been a penalty, to be honest. You can't hit the goalie after the whistle. But it was one of those things where it was like, yeah, you're getting in the guy's head. Like, the refs are never going to call that. The Canucks shouldn't allow that to happen. Someone, drop the mitts with Bennett, do something, get in his face, don't just shove him out of the way. He doesn't learn anything from that. That bothered me a little bit. And then about 40 seconds later, Adam Gaudette had a bit of a breakaway and Markey stopped him with the glove, and Markstrom's glove hand was on fire tonight. 7.5 minutes to go in the second period, Bo Horvat called for a slash. It looked like a stick check to me. He kind of reached around, guy was skating up the boards, Horvat reached around and sort of smacked him with the stick. It looked like it was all stick on stick. And the back ref called it, who all he could see was Horvat go around with a stick. He might have caught a bit of hand, I don't know, but that's how it was called. And then on this one, Tyler Myers took a shot to the left hand. He was basically debilitated for this power play. Kind of reminded me of Richard Sherman in that one NFC Championship game where he hurt his elbow, where he was just kind of skating out there, like hiding this left hand behind his body while trying to make stick checks. Didn't work very well. And again, 1 second after this penalty ended, just like the first goal, Mangiapane takes a shot from the point. It hits Jordy Ben. It hits Nate Schmidt. And then goes in. Hits 2 Canucks defensemen, goes like boom, boom, and in. So Demko's facing this way. Puck goes here and in. Really unlucky for Thatcher Demko there. That made it 2-1 Calgary. And again, both of those goals really unlucky for the Canucks. So technically Calgary's 0 for 2 on the power play. Both of those goals came 1 second after. A couple minutes later, Höglander draws a hooking penalty from Valimaki. Höglander again was excellent. Besser had a tip off of a Miller shot, sort of like a slap pass that hit the post, unfortunately. And then with 50 seconds left in the second period, Tyler Myers and Mangiapane both go to the penalty box for 4-on-4. Shots at the end of the second period were 10-6 for Vancouver, making it 24-14 at that point in the game for the Canucks. Score still 2-1 to Calgary. Brandon Sutter made a nice move in the third period, about 4 minutes into the third. Made a really nice move entering the Calgary zone. Sean Monahan pulled him down, so the Canucks go to the power play. Pettersson walked in on one play from the point, walked in. Again, he went glove side. Markey made the glove save. And then right after this penalty ends, Sean Monahan comes out of the box on a Canucks change, so there's only one defenseman on the ice. He ends up feeding Johnny Gaudreau on a breakaway. He beats Demko upstairs and made it 3-1, and this game was pretty much over. 11:28 to go. Pettersson got called for winning a faceoff with his hand. Like, I guess he was in the draw, and he sort of like swatted it back with his hand. I don't think I've ever seen this called. I know it's technically a penalty. It's technically delay of game. I've just never seen it happen before. I thought that was kind of interesting. That got killed off. Canucks pulled Demko with 2:45 to go. They had a fair amount of shots. Couldn't do anything. Timeout with 45 seconds left. Again, nothing doing there. So the final score in this one, 3-1 for Calgary. Our pluses and minuses for this game. Where should we start today? Let's start with the minuses. The Oilers beat the Habs. So if the Canucks want to make the playoffs, it's going to be probably Toronto, Montreal 1-2, and then 3 through 6 needs to be like Oilers, Flames, Jets, and Canucks, right? So the Canucks need the Oilers, Jets, and Flames to lose as many games as possible. Unfortunately, all 3 of those teams won tonight. The Oilers beat the Habs, the Jets beat the Sens, and the Flames beat the Canucks, bringing the Canucks down to 6-11, and playoff dreams are looking bleak. They allowed the first goal again. They are now 0-10, allowing the first goal, 6-1 when they score the first goal. Not a good stat for the Canucks. It just shows that they have a lack of resilience, right? When they go down 1, they're not able to score and get back in it. Justin Bailey left with a shoulder injury. That was unfortunate. Looked like he kind of was like coming down the pathway to the dressing room, kind of like this, like just letting the shoulder hang. It didn't look good. 2 goals coming off bad bounces. You could almost put this on the plus side, saying, well, the Canucks played well, just 2 unlucky goals against. Good teams get lucky. That's just kind of how it works, right? Good teams get lucky. 6 straight losses. There's no way to make that sound positive. Sure, you can say that the Canucks are the better team in the last 2 games, but it doesn't matter if you were the better team if you lose games. Moral victories. And again, Halford and Bruff's last day on the radio, and it's gonna I'm still mad about this, that Bell took TSN 1040 off the airwaves. But Halford and Bruff's last radio show, I was listening to it the last couple of days, and like the death march that they've had to endure the last few years, and the moral victories. Like, we don't care about moral victories anymore, right? Like, this is supposed to be a city of at least making the playoffs. There's no 1040 commercial-free post-game tonight. That might be why you're watching my video right now. That's sad to see. And then the whole hashtag thank you Jim on Twitter, I think, is pretty funny. I think it was James Cebulski, the voice of NHL 21, had this whole sort of spiel that was basically based off of one of these tweets that just wasn't a good take. And it was like, well, you can't complain about all the 1040 people being fired and then be advocating for Benning to get fired. But it's like, Benning makes multiple $1 million a year, and he's the 3rd highest tenured GM in the league. Just a terrible take. Either way, I'm ranting. On to the pluses for this one. Excellent start. The Canucks were really good in the first period. They were the better team, and they got unlucky in this one. Elias Pettersson, that move on Milan Lucic was just gorgeous move. Olli Juolevi, I think, was really good. I don't know if he was out there for a goal against. I wasn't really paying attention to that per se, but he was really good tonight. He was always in good position. He was making good passes. He looked like he had a little bit of swagger out there, you know? I like to see that. There was some spice to this game. There was definitely some heat. I'm really excited for Saturday on Hockey Night in Canada. We're going to have some feistiness in that one. My ability to hide pain is improving. If you couldn't tell from this video so far, I've actually sounded pretty positive, although I'm dead inside. The Canucks played fine. That's my next one. They played fine. And the other plus that I want to go into is not related to the Canucks at all. Vegas Golden Knights, the gold buckets. Guys, there's so many people on Twitter being all like, oh, they're really ugly and the gold doesn't match their jerseys. But guys, the fact that a team in the NHL has shiny gold buckets, like, that's awesome. Like, let's just look at the positives and be like, look, there's some creativity going on here, and there's some fun happening. We need more fun in this league, especially as Canucks fans. We need more fun. I really like the gold buckets. I like some personality, some variety. That's just my take on them. Look, I think they do look kind of ugly, but I like that there's some fun going on. Game pucks for this one. For the Vancouver Canucks, I'm going to go Olli Juolevi. I think he had a solid game. I could have given it to Pettersson. I could give, like, my 6th game puck of the year to Niels Höglander. I think Demko was good tonight. He only really allowed one goal that was a direct shot. The other 2 were weird deflections, and that one goal was a breakaway by Johnny Gaudreau, a noted good hockey player. For Calgary, I'm going to give it to Jacob Markstrom. He was really good tonight. He was always in position. His glove hand was exquisite. That was vintage Jacob Markstrom, and it's hard to say vintage about a 30-year-old, but when he was on the Canucks the last couple of years, that was the type of performance that Markstrom would have, where the team would get outshot and outplayed, but he'd stay solid and he'd stay in the game, and the team would battle out a win, and that's exactly what he did for Calgary tonight. Next game in this series, Saturday, 7 p.m., Canucks Flames, Hockey Night in Canada. I forgot, I had a rant written for this one. I was supposed to lead off this video with this rant, but I'm actually feeling a bit more positive than I did before. But let's read the rant anyways. Let's get into a negative mood. We're already 12 minutes and 42 seconds into this video, but let's bring it to the negative land. Blow it up. Last year we got a taste of what success feels like, and I want more. Personally, look, if the Canucks had been terrible last year, they didn't make the bubble, or they got swept in the first round of Minnesota, and we're like, yep, this team's bad. Oh, here we go, another year of badness. But they gave us a little taste. They gave us that first little taste, and oh boy, I want more. It's clear this isn't going to cut it. The Canucks fan base is not going to have this. My aspiration for this channel, and the thing that I envisioned the day I started Parker's Pucks, and what I really want to do, but I don't have the sizable fan base. And by the way, we're up to 575 subscribers. We're up 300 in the last week. I'm blown away. Thank you guys for the support. But my aspiration for this channel was to almost run it kind of like how Rob Fay ran his radio show. And that's kind of the inspiration for this whole post-game thing, is I want to be able to go live the moment after the Canucks game is over and just have people call in, whether that's through my Discord or if I could somehow set up some phone line. I don't know how I would do it, but once we get to a sizable channel and we can actually be a big voice on the Canucks, and that's my dream, is that we have you call in, vent what you're feeling. It can be uncensored. We're on the internet, for God's sake. I can imagine that what the response from fans would be after this 6-game losing streak and the visceral anger. It would be electric, and I can't wait. And whether that's later this year, if we do have that following, or in a year or 2 years, or however long it takes, that's what I want from this channel. That's my dream. I want you guys to have a voice. And look, with 1040 being gone, this city has lost a voice this week. And I aspire to be able to have a fraction of the impact that station had. I made a video on 1040 being shut down and actually got like 1,500 views or something, which was crazy. I really didn't expect it to get any because there wasn't really any searchable tags in it. But your responses to it and your stories in the comments about how much this station meant to you, and I wish I could supply some sort of, like, I could make up for it somehow, you know? That's what I aspire to do. I want to be a voice in this market. I want you to have a voice in this market, and whether that's through me or through calling into 650 or whatever it takes, you guys deserve a voice. And right now, I know what your voices are probably saying, and that's fire everybody except Ian Clark. And that's kind of the boat that I'm on. Anyways, this has been going on for too long. I've been rambling. We're 15:42 into this video. That's all I've got for you guys tonight. I hope you have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Not sure what that's going to be, but the season's kind of dead. And I hate to say it, but it's kind of dead. And I'm kind of assuming that less people are going to be watching this as people become less interested in this Canucks team, but I don't know. I just feel the need. Like, I want to talk more. I want people to talk to you. I want the interaction. So if you're interested in having a chat, like, just join in the comments below, voice your opinion, and I'll read it at least. You'll be heard by at least somebody. Anyways, that's all I've got for you tonight. Have a good night. Unfortunately, the Canucks lost, but maybe Saturday. See you tomorrow.